So today we are in Pearland, Texas, one of Houston's best suburbs. Now I'm a little bit biased because I've lived here for the last 6 years, but don't just take my word for it. In this video, I'm going to take you around Pearland, Texas so that you can see for yourself how great this city can be. We're going to check out one of the best shopping areas around here. We're going to check out some of the schools. And then at the end of the video, we're going to drive through some neighborhoods and show you some houses at different price points so you can see what you can buy with your budget. Now, if this is your first time to this channel, I want to say welcome. You are in the right place to learn all there is about Houston, Texas. On this channel, we're going to talk all there is to eat, sleep, play, the good, the bad, and everything else. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the little bell icon for notifications so that you can be the first to learn all there is about Houston, Texas. We're helping people move to Houston, Texas all the time, and we love it. So if you're thinking about moving here, whether it's in 9 days or 90 days, make sure you give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, and we're gonna make sure your move is as stress-free as possible. So before we jump into the actual tour itself, I just wanna pull up the map of Houston and show you guys on a map where Pearland, Texas is. So on the screen here, you see Houston, and Pearland is down here, south, southeast. It's outlined here in this red dashed line. And Pearland, as you can tell, is outside of the Beltway Loop. So we are about 20-30 minutes, depending where you're at, away from downtown Houston. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. So if you can kind of tell, Pearland is it's a larger neighborhood. It takes up a lot of space down here. We are as far west as 521. It goes across 288, and then it goes as far east to almost 45 south, which is the big highway on the east side here. So there's a lot of space in Pearland. To break it down even further, Pearland is also split between what we call Old Pearland and New Pearland. So the split starts somewhere right here down Cullen Parkway. So there's a kind of an imaginary area you can call here. And as you kind of bleed over, you go into the east side, which is the old historic Pearland. So this side of Pearland is definitely, it's been around a lot longer. It's more established. Your buildings are a bit older, your homes. There are some newer neighborhoods in this area, but a lot of them are kind of teetering on the older side. But you got a lot more parks on this side, and I think this side of town is going to be a lot more family friendly. It's more more local based, right? You can drive down the street and you'll see some of the shops with their signs supporting like the local high school team. So that's the older historic side. And then on the west side of that imaginary line, so West Pearland, this is considered New Pearland. So this side is more newly developed, and it's still developing even to this day. But on this side, you're going to see a lot more kind of big shopping areas. You're going to see more restaurants, more newer developments. And a lot of these neighborhoods are either new builds or they're continuing to build new. And this side's probably, been established, or it's been developed in the last, I'll say 10, 20 years almost. So this is the newer side, and this is where we are going to be checking out in today's tour. We're going to check out Old Pearland in a different video. I actually live on this side of town, so I gotta get in my backyard and check it out one of these days. Today, we're going to check out New Pearland, and we are going to start right around here at the town center. I'll see you there. All right, so I am here at the Pearland Town Center. This is Pearland's, you could argue this is Pearland's major focal point because this is just like a huge kind of outdoor mall where we've got a lot of shopping, a lot of restaurants, a lot of kind of boutique and fitness centers around here. I mean, there's a dance studio, a BJJ studio over there, and yeah, there's a lot of different things around here. But right now, I am in the main center court area under the huge pavilion. Got some big fans going on because it's 100 degrees out here. It's so hot. But I'm here because I want to show you guys everything. So I'm here outside. There's not a lot of people out here, as you can kind of tell. Because again, it's 100 degrees out. This is an outdoor shopping center. There's not a lot of shade over here besides this huge canopy. So I'm here. This is where I'm here to kind of cool down a little bit. But normally when it's not super hot outside, this is a really fun area. I mean, this canopy area gets decked out during the Christmas season, the fest during the fall and Christmas seasons. You get a lot of lights. You got the big Christmas tree out here, and then you got the fountains and the little green area where the kids can play. And it's actually really crowded during the cooler seasons. But here you got a lot of great different shopping and restaurants. Forever 21. You got department stores like JCPenney's and Macy's, and then restaurants. You've got BJ's. You've got Mongo and Bonchon. A lot of different variety here. You've also got an H&M around the corner, Victoria's Secret, all kinds of different little random shopping. So it's not like a super huge mall in the sense of like you're not gonna get a lot of designer brand stores here, but it's a pretty standard mall, I would say. You can still have a pretty good time out here. So yeah, that's the town center. So I think one really great benefit to living in Pearland, Texas is that anywhere you live within Pearland, you are probably at most 15 minutes away from two really solid hospital systems. You got the HCA hospital right here in Pearland, and then just 5 minutes down the road that way, you've got the Memorial Hermann hospital system. And these are two very solid hospitals. They are going to take the best care of you. Last year, my brother, he actually had a medical emergency. And so we were able to drive him out to this HCA emergency, literally in the middle of the night. It was probably like 2 a.m. And they admitted him, they took care of him, and luckily he was able to pull through, and he's okay now, thankfully. But having this hospital so close and having them always on standby and ready to take care of you, there is just some sort of peace of mind about that, knowing that you have these great hospitals that back you up. So another benefit to living in Pearland is that you have two great hospitals, full service. They can pretty much take care of you as much as you need to. I am at Glenda Dawson High School. Go ahead and check that out. And if you can't tell from my perspective in the school behind me, this school is huge. It is gigantic. This puts my school to shame. I grew up in a small town. My graduating class was about 200 students. This school holds about 2,600 students. And if you can't tell just by, how big the school is and just how good it looks, I mean, you can tell they put a lot of care and money into their school district. Pearland ISD, they have roughly about 26,000 students in the entire school district. And the student to teacher ratio is about 17-1. So you have almost kind of a very personalized experience. You got a lot of teacher focus on their students, and a lot of these kids go on to be, they go on to do great things. And that was one of the big reasons my wife and I decided to settle down in Pearland too, is because we knew how good the school district was here. Very safe, very quiet, and very, it's still big enough where you can kind of still have fun with it and meet a lot of different people. So definitely one of the top ranked schools here in the nation, or one of the top ranked schools here in Texas. And I honestly can't wait for my kid to go to these schools one day. Look how huge that is. So right now I'm in one of my favorite neighborhoods. This is the Shadow Creek Ranch neighborhood, and I'm at the rec center right now. And so let's just come check it out real quick. You've got a full pool, volleyball court, you've got a playground right there. And then the cool thing I love about this neighborhood too is that we've got a lot of great water features and a lot of water areas here. So you can see right there behind me. So if you already know about Texas, there's not a lot of nature, there's not a lot of scenery or a lot of nature-y things to do here. So coming through here and seeing all these water features and all these kind of great perks here makes up for it. So there's a lot of great amenities within this neighborhood. Makes it one of my favorite neighborhoods. One day I'll move into here, but not yet. As you can imagine, with all these amenities within this neighborhood, HOA fees here are through the roof. I will have to come back and add the HOA fees. I don't know what is off the top of my head, but if you can afford it, I mean, this is definitely one of those areas that's really worth it. I remember I used to come here a lot just to play Pokemon Go because there's a ton of gyms around here. And as you can kind of tell, it's really peaceful. It's really nice. And within this neighborhood, there are 2 other rec centers just like this. I mean, this neighborhood is huge. It takes up a lot of space. But as you can see, some of these houses here even back up to the water features. So definitely a really great place and a really great area if you can afford it. So speaking of affording, I'm starting at the rec center, but let's go check out some houses now in the neighborhood. All right, so we are at the first house within this neighborhood. This house right here. It's got a beautiful brick construction on the first level and then siding up to the top half of it. But this house is listed at $375. It's about 2275 square feet, which puts its price point at around $165 a square foot, which I think for this area is pretty reasonable. And in this neighborhood, the HOA fees are going to be about $1,000 a year. So make sure you guys are taking that into consideration. But you got to remember, with those high HOA fees, you're going to get 3 great rec centers. You're going to get a lot of great water features and just a great community in general. Because I mean, you can kind of tell walking through here, it's really clean, it's really quiet, it's peaceful. I mean, you've got kids kind of playing out in the driveway and they're kind of playing out here outside. And I feel like nowadays you don't really see a whole lot of that anymore, especially in some of these other communities. So a lot of these houses around here, these were all built probably early 2000s. I've seen as late as 2010. The house that we just saw was built 2005, and a lot of these houses, they're pretty solid construction so far. I don't see a whole lot of issues with any of them. Oh, hello. So again, yeah, a lot of these houses you see, they're going to be brick construction. The top half is going to be the siding, which you see that a lot. They'll do brick on the kind of the first level of it, and then the hardy planks towards the top of it. Or the many do like 3 sides brick, and then the back side would be all hardy. And you know, it's just a combination of cost savings and just that it's hard to get brick up that higher. Now, I've worked with a couple of California investors, and they always ask me why is there never the fence there between the houses? Kind of like if you see this house right here, you see how it's just kind of open. There's no dividing fence towards the front of the house. And you know, I didn't really have a good answer for that, because a lot of the houses you see here, they're just built like that. We don't have the dividing fences in the front lawns. Now in the back lawns, yeah, those are separated all day long, but back in the front, not separated very often. So again, kind of walking through the streets here, and I guess one thing you notice a lot, especially in these neighborhoods, is that there's a lot of street parking, which when you get a lot of people parked in the streets, let's take a look back here, the streets get crowded very quickly. And so if you have a big car, it might be a bit of a struggle, but for the most part, you know, people are pretty good about staggering their cars so that there's not a big cluster of cars in one area. So yeah, so for about $350,000 to $370,000, you'd be looking at a house in this neighborhood within Shadow Creek. And again, I mean, these aren't bad houses. It's very quiet. And again, this is a very family-friendly environment, very family-focus-oriented neighborhood. Because again, I mean, you see kids playing out. You got kids playing basketball in their driveways. You got a dad walking his baby out on his little bike. So this area is if you're looking for a place that's very family-focused, this is definitely going to be it. All right, so that's the first price point. Let's go to the next one. So here we are at the second neighborhood. This house over here behind me is currently for sale.
It's listed at $650,000, but this is a 4,600 square foot home, so it's a lot bigger, which puts the price per square foot at about $141 a square foot, which I would say is actually pretty competitively priced. But let's walk through the neighborhood here a little bit. So these houses, they're going to be bigger. They're all kind of built around the same time. A lot of these are going to be either 2000s, 2005, maybe 2010s, but this whole neighborhood, this whole area has been kind of developed at the same time. So a lot of these houses were built around the same time. But you got bigger houses here. A lot of these houses now, we're going to start seeing the brick going up both levels. So brick on the first level and second level, all brick throughout the exterior, which if you can splurge for that and get that, I highly recommend it. Brick is such a sturdy, such a solid exterior material. So we got bigger houses over here, and surprisingly, we also got these bigger trees. So you got these tall oak trees and very well maintained landscaping, which is to be expected because the HOA fees, they're gonna pay for the upkeep, and they're gonna at least make sure that your neighbors' yards are gonna be looking good. Especially in this price point, you're kind of expecting things to be well kept and looking good. I've been seeing this a lot here, these gated garage entryways. I think that's the coolest looking thing ever. You got the nice little bridge that goes over the gates too. They go with like the little mini house on the side. I think it's just a really cool design. You kind of see it over here as well. So they got the 2-story, they got the brick, but you kind of see how the little walkway goes over the gateway to the other side of the house. I think that's such a cool design. Makes it feel more like a castle of sorts, It's pretty cool. So if you can tell, it's really quiet out here right now because again, it's 100 degrees outside and not a lot of people are outside playing. But even if it wasn't 100 degrees outside, it'd probably still be, the suburbs are generally a more quieter place to live in. A lot of these people, they're probably in bed by 7, 8 o'clock. And this is, again, very family focused. So these are early sleepers and early risers. So if you are, if you're still kind of craving that nightlife style, you want wild parties, crazy clubs, you want shots at 2 a.m., not here. Not going to be here. The craziest thing you're going to do here is shots of espresso at 5 a.m. Yeah, this is, again, a very family-focused, fairly family-oriented neighborhood. And, this is perfect if, you want to start a family. Not so perfect if you want to party the night away. One thing I've noticed here, at least in this neighborhood, some houses have this combination of the oak trees and the really tall palm trees. Kind of gives it more of a coastal vibe. I personally am not a huge fan of the palm trees because they just get too tall. They cost too much to maintain. You got to get somebody out every year to cut them down, and it just costs way too much money to do it. It's too much to maintain. So I used to have 2 palm trees in my own neighborhood or in my house. I cut those suckers down. I couldn't stand them anymore, and I don't regret it. So again, I'm walking down this cul-de-sac right now. You got a lot of 2-story houses, 2 3-car garages, and very tall, big oak trees. And again, everyone's landscaping is very well. I'm just doing a video tour of the neighborhood. So they got a house for sale over here. Oh, yeah? So I'm just trying to showcase the area around it. Okay. Nice. Yeah, it's a beautiful place so far. You guys lived here long? About 11 years. Oh, really? Yeah. You like it so far? Oh, couldn't be better. Really? Yeah. You guys ever go to the rec center? Oh, you have a pool? Oh, you don't need to go to the rec center. That's in your backyard. Yeah. They're nice. It's a pool. Really? So I've seen the reflection bay, and I haven't seen the other 3 yet. That's like. Are you thinking about moving in here, or are you a realtor? I'm a realtor. Okay. Yep. Yeah. The other pools are even better. Oh, really? Yeah. Better than that? I thought that was pretty good. Well, I mean. All right, just got done talking to one of the locals here. Kind of cool. Very nice couple though. They lived here for 11 years and they're loving it so far. But yeah, again, a lot of these guys, they are buying these houses, they're holding them, they're keeping them because this area just only gets better and better. And again, it was a really friendly conversation. These guys, they're very aware and very cautious, I could say. You got some weird guy walking around with this camera. They're like, "Hey, what's going on? What's up?" Just make sure nothing sketchy is going on. And I appreciate that. I like neighbors that kind of look out for themselves and look out for their neighborhood too. So definitely respect that. But yeah, that is the neighborhood. That's Pearland.